People move to New Braunfels not because of this or this. People move to New Braunfels because they want warm weather, rivers, outdoor life, and lots of sunshine. And most of the year, that's exactly what you get here. But every year, winter shows up for a few days, and when it does, New Braunfels looks and feels completely different. It's freezing. My hand's holding this, and it's like, if I don't get my hand in my pocket soon, I'm gonna get frostbite. Anticipation, panic, slowdown, shutdown, and recovery. The harsh reality of living in New Braunfels in today's video. If you are new here to my channel, do not adjust your phone or TV set or wherever you're watching this from because it is still cold in New Braunfels. But thanks for hopping aboard because every week we're bringing you videos just like this one, timely and relevant videos about what it's like to live in New Braunfels. We are not out of the woods yet with the colder weather in New Braunfels, but it has warmed up from the most extreme conditions we saw during the third week in January, now creeping into the fourth week, and another cool down, not as bad, but another cool down is on the way. This 2026 winter in New Braunfels is not about the hazardous cold weather or dangerous icy roads. It's about what happens when a warm weather town like New Braunfels experiences real cold. We spent 4 days outside in New Braunfels from city limits to hill country to show you what it's like to live here under these conditions. The severe winter weather actually started 3 days before the unbearable cold got to New Braunfels, or at least the preparation started for it. Preparation, or was it panic? Here's what our grocery stores looked like Friday evening, about 24 hours before the severe weather. Shelves were wiped out, toilet paper, water, milk, eggs, meat, fruit, and much more. This was already the third day of what I'd call panic shopping, not because the weather was extreme yet, but because people here know what cold can do to a city that's built for warm weather. Overnight into Saturday was really the appetizer for the big chill coming to New Braunfels. Early that morning, temperatures dove from the 60s to the 40s, but it felt more like in the 20s with the wind chill. Wind chill, when do we talk about that in New Braunfels? Yeah, we had wind chill already and some rain. I headed to the gym around 6:30 a.m. and it was one of the slowest Saturdays I've ever seen here. After the gym, I drove through downtown, and New Braunfels is an outdoor city, so normally full of people, but on this day, almost nobody. I even went to the recycling center to drop off some items, and they told me I was one of only 2 cars that morning. Even the farmer's market, a staple in downtown New Braunfels, was almost empty. Vendors still showed up, but it's so eerie to see this when we're used to seeing this most of the time. It's packed when it's warm, but in the cold, the city changes just like that in a snap instantly. On this day, there were more vendors than customers. That morning, that day on Saturday, we hit all the hot spots in town where most people, residents, tourists, hang out. Landa Park is one of those places. It's typically buzzing with activity and families having fun on the weekends, even in January. But on this day, virtually empty. Even the golf course was closed. By now, temperatures had plunged to the low 30s with the wind, and you could see steam fog coming off the lake at Landa Park. Then I drove to Green, which even in January is busy with tourists and residents. For the first time in a long time, parking spots everywhere. No lines, no crowds, no one directing traffic. My eye-opening moment was walking into the historic general store in Green and seeing only 2 other people inside. I mean, that never happens. Our big box shopping area, Creekside, was empty by comparison to other days. Buc-ee's, the tourist attraction, was a ghost town. The movie theater was maybe a quarter full on a Saturday afternoon. One of my favorite restaurants adjusted its hours to close early ahead of the dangerous cold. Outdoor pickleball courts, as you can imagine, sat empty. Later that evening, even the movie theaters and multiple restaurants all over New Braunfels shut down early. This kind of weather in New Braunfels doesn't just change routines, it puts a big dent into our local economy. And that's not healthy, especially for our hyper-local smaller businesses. To make matters worse, the most severe weather started around 7:30 p.m. Saturday night with tiny specks of snow, yes, snow in New Braunfels covering windshields. Then sleet from the freezing rain and plunging temperatures. No turning back now. Winter had officially arrived in New Braunfels. The worst, though, came a few hours later on Sunday, the deep freeze. I mean, it was the coldest I've ever felt in New Braunfels that morning. with feels-like temperatures in the teens and single digits, and my car door was almost frozen shut. My windshield just caked in ice. My trunk wouldn't open because it was frozen shut to get my scraper, so I had to defrost for 15 minutes just to drive. And when I drove away, drove into downtown New Braunfels at 7:30 a.m. on a Sunday, and there's typically still some movement here. Cars getting to church, to breakfast, to the grocery store, but even that had to wait. On this day in downtown New Braunfels, nothing. I mean, I could cross the street without even looking, although I did, but this was like tumbleweeds and crickets. It was as if someone threw up barricades for an event, only no one was invited, and for good reason. If you're not wearing gloves, your hands you're gonna get frostbite. It's cold. And I'm holding this phone right now to record. You can't feel it through video, but you kind of can. It's the expression on my face. It's freezing. My hand's holding this, and it's like, if I don't get my hand in my pocket soon, I'm gonna get frostbite. Ghost town, downtown. Even green felt like my own private town. Snow-covered tables, coffee shops closed. One of the most photographed spots in Texas. It's as if you could hear iced-in residents and tourists whispering, "We're not coming today." Then it was off to the snowy side of hill country in New Braunfels, where driving below the posted speed limit is recommended, and I recommend it for myself after a night of sleet and bone-chilling temps. I stopped at one of our acreage communities in New Braunfels, Vintage Oaks, where winter becomes a real lifestyle issue. You have a lot of ice out here. You can see that ice, okay? And it doesn't appear that these Vintage Oaks roads are treated. These neighborhood roads frozen over, which makes getting in and out of your own driveway a challenge, especially if your house is on a slope. You could be stuck there the entire day or for 2 or 3 days. The coldest day froze home building, affecting projects from the hill country to city limits, and from residential sites to some of New Braunfels' largest commercial projects. Winters in New Braunfels are all about protecting people, pets, plants, and pipes connected to your home from hill country to city limits.
Slow drip. Something like this.
And then open the cupboards for let the warm air flow.
Right.
All right.
And then setting the temperatures to 62. This is at 67 now just because we're preparing for gas. But at least 62 degrees.
These are the things you don't think about when you move to a warm city until you need to think about them. Staying safe is priority number one during a New Braunfels winter, even when you almost lose your footing. Okay, this is, whoa. Saturday was the slowdown. Sunday was the shutdown. Our shopping area was virtually abandoned. It is so weird to see when most of the time it looks like this. Since New Braunfels is an outdoor kind of town, our new family entertainment venue was practically empty. And tourist trap Buc-ee's was a shell of itself for the second straight day. And look at this. I mean, if this is not telling, don't know what is. Look at our major highway running through town. You definitely can't complain about traffic on this day. Same story at our parks for a second straight day. Empty parking lots, an idle train, and practically no one around. By this time, I was getting hungry and stopped at my go-to seafood place in New Braunfels, but an empty parking lot could only mean one thing: closed for the day. I didn't want to see that, but that meant I had to drive all the way to a neighboring city to one of my other favorite places. Thankfully, they were open. It was so cold on Sunday that New Braunfels public school districts called off school for Monday. That's because by Monday morning, just when you thought you left this wicked winter weather behind, here comes another round of cold in New Braunfels, and it was cold, 8 degrees with the wind. And that's when I realized something else about cold weather in New Braunfels that I really didn't want to realize, especially that morning. The cold weather changes more than the city. It breaks normal routine. My car wouldn't start, battery completely dead. So I had to call an Uber to get to the gym, and it took 34 minutes just to find a driver to get to the gym. But so grateful for that driver working, because Exercise is an atomic habit for me. It's one of the most important starts to my day. After the gym, I called up AAA. They came out and they said my current battery was running at low capacity. No surprise. It happened to a number of people over the cold stretch, so they replaced the battery on the spot. By Monday afternoon, with the temperatures rising into the 30s, which felt like beach weather compared to the previous 2 days, stores in our large shopping center had reopened. Buc-ee's was still relatively slow, but people showed up at stores, but they weren't entirely full. Green wasn't a ghost town anymore, but it was still quiet, even for this time of year. Around noon is when we checked it out. Around the same time, around noon, 12:30, you could feel the city of New Braunfels starting to wake up again. The sun was out, still cold, but traffic was back around the main plaza and traffic circle. It felt like New Braunfels was slowly thawing out. We'd have another 2 nights and mornings of hard freezes like this morning, but later in the week, the F word, freezing, was no longer part of our everyday lives in New Braunfels. This is what winter in New Braunfels looks and feels like. If video can capture the feel part. A few cold days, a city that shuts down, moments where life feels different, and then just like that, it starts coming back. Most of the year, living in New Braunfels is incredible. You guys have seen it on our channel week after week, but every winter, there's a short reminder that even warm cities have real seasons. Once in a great while, they can be real surprising, like the snowstorm and cold that blanketed New Braunfels 5 years ago. Now, if you're okay with this harsh reality of living in New Braunfels and you still want to move forward and move to New Braunfels, or you just want to get out of Dodge and move somewhere where it never gets cold, either one of those, of course, I would love to be your real estate resource of choice. You can email me, you can call me, or you can shoot me a text. As always, thank you so much for watching our videos every week, and hopefully this is the last time you see me wearing a jacket and hat. We'll see you on the next one.